It's the last thing I streamed. I just realized I didn't change my title or anything. Path of Exile. Ah, yes, my Blunderbore character. Oh, that's right. This doesn't work on this browser anymore. I have to do it on this browser. I have like 5 browsers now because shit doesn't work on one browser, but then it doesn't work on the other browser if I try to do something else. It just I do not want to restart. Fuck off. Okay. Stream is back. Path of Exile is back. Shee. No, Celtics, I got 37 minutes. I might be able to squeeze out around
Yep.
fucking 30 minutes to unlock some more hentai. I can't play that on stream. Well, actually, I guess I could. I would just have to skip the reward at the end. Where is it? Around here somewhere. Sexy Mystic Survivors. Oh man, I gotta hurry up and get into a round of it then. Oh, I gotta make sure I don't get low health. I just thought about that. If I go low health, it's going to drop pitties on my screen.
Mm.
Oh, fuck. Oh, just don't suck, right? I still haven't I still haven't beat a game with Isaiah yet. Look, I'm not growling at you.
Can you stream the Survivors game on Discord?
I'm streaming it on my. Actually, I think I can do both. Oh wait, it's not actually streaming on my. Hold on.
Yeah, I thought I saw the lead stream thing.
That's weird. Yeah, no.
Oh, there it is. I see.
Yeah, but it's not actually. It's not streaming the gameplay itself. It just froze on the sexy survivors portion of it. It's fucking. Alright, apparently you can't stream it all. Yeah, I'll just stream it to you. Yeah. Oh, now I don't have to worry about sucking. Fuck, I grabbed that heart. I didn't even realize that it was a heart on the field. Oh, Gimp run.
She's the extra weapon one, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotta make sure I get the weapons that I know I'm gonna be able to upgrade. So just looking on the field to see what else we had over here. I should probably do it at everyone. Uh, um. No, damn it! I got too close. I realized what it was at first. Like it took me a couple seconds to process it. I thought it was a fucking what do you call it? Buff. It's worth having. I'll be able to get a magnet further up. I believe bow is the other one. No. Okay, now we don't have to worry about bow. We want fire crystal. Now we can pick up boots too here. As much as I like Dragon Tooth, I'm not get a gold bag for it. Epic will do it.
What the hell? What am I looking at?
Oh,
What?
playing a Survivor's Light,
Nice.
but with waifus.
Hello.
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 Oh, the people are starting to arrive. I see.
Yes, I saw your ads.
Oh, thank you, Celtis. I was just talking to Celtis. I was like, man, maybe I should add everybody. Yeah, I turned on the stream and I was just like, you know what? It'd be nice to have like live reactions for everybody.
You're streaming. Oh, you are.
Yeah.
You're just all the way at the fucking bottom of the list.
It feels bad, man.
Yeah.
That's why it's always down there now. No stream.
Or just unfollow everyone and then you're at the top.
Oh. I had a good vacation from streaming.
Nice.
No stress, no caring about my numbers. Playing a bunch of fucking EVE Online and all kinds of other games. Yeah, there's a box down here. Eat the box, get out of the way.
And is this some kind of vampire survivors again?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one that Celta suggested to me.
This is your new addiction, isn't it?
It's actually insane how many Vampire Survivor like games I know.
The fuck is the laser beam?
It's a buff. Kill the mob that dropped it. It's actually insanely OP once you fucking get to the boss. You can actually just melt the boss in a couple seconds if you get lucky and get one to drop. My fucking fire booties. It's the closest thing to 8. We're just gonna full send it, get it to 8 so I can evolve it. Jesus Christ. Good enough fucking XP there. Hit this. It's gonna suck for a little bit. Hit this. I need the relic. Did you tried Ruthless, right? Did you try Ruthless?
Nope. Haven't touched PoE in a while.
Oh, there's the other buff thingy that just dropped. Oh, jeez, I dropped 2 of them at the same time.
I did watch it a bit from streams, but
I watched
doesn't
Steel
look like
Mage do
something
it.
I would enjoy.
Yeah, I watched Steel Mage do it, and I was like, all I could think of was maybe like at the very end of a league, like the league is done and over, and I just want like something to drag it on for a little bit more. But the one thing that was like irritating to me was everybody I would go to watch play it were all playing the same build.
Hmm.
Like, they're all playing Ice Dot. I was like, almost every single
Yeah.
one of them was playing Ice Dot, and I was just like, okay, well, this just tells me the state of which that's in, you know.
One build meta.
Where it's like, you know, because you don't get support, it's like half of your builds are just completely invalidated, and you have to farm with the one build to find your support gems so you can make your other build. And it's like, that just doesn't sound like too much fun. I did ask to get into the beta to see, but I did not get a invite. I'm not a big NFL streamer anymore. Okay.
Maybe one day.
Hopefully not. That means I have to stream. Oh, I keep forgetting this character has a really good ultimate move. Are we level 8 on the boots? We are. Okay. Upgrade the boots.
Treasure.
Firework boots. I leave little exploding balls of death. We'll upgrade this one next. 23 minutes. So what do you guys predictions? What do you guys think it's gonna be?
I haven't watched anything or read anything. Going in blind.
Okay.
No expectations.
I have ungodly amounts of expectations. It will never reach my expectations.
Like what?
Like I expect it to be rewarding enough to keep a vast majority of the player base actually playing it more longer than a month. I think they have a recipe for what works, right? They know what gets retention. They know what people want. The question is, are they willing to actually go through and, you know, bite the bullet on their own philosophy to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Path of Exile.
I thought so.
I was saying, like, you know, I have huge expectations for what this league should be like, and it's just because how many like fluff bad leagues are you willing to put out before Path of Exile 2, right?
Yeah, no.
You can't fluff and shit bad leagues out and then just go, by the way, PoE 2's around the corner. Because people are just going to be like, is it more of this bullshit? And then they'll be like, maybe. You know?
It will be start.
That being
thing
said,
is-
rares did get fixed to an extent. Kind of, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, so we have to play it first.
Well, I mean, it's the same. It's the mod pool like we had previously, with a couple added extra things, which means that we don't have like Incendiary Arch Nemesis mod that's resistant to like 50% of your fire damage, right? Like, I think that is already that change in itself is a really good step in the right direction.
But you know what's good about not having expectations? You can't be disappointed.
No, you can always be disappointed.
Nah.
You could always be even more disappointed than before.
But if you have no expectations, really. I used to live life like that, and it was just shit. But I did, like, nothing bad happened.
Nothing good happened either.
Exactly! Exactly! I'm not even kidding. Like,
No,
I tried
no, I
to live
know
life like that. It sucks.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You
It's so
wake
shit.
up, you go to sleep. You wake up, you go to
Yeah,
sleep.
No,
You're like,
and
oh
for
fuck,
PoE, no expectations.
whole ass
Not for-
year's gone by. Like, I couldn't imagine it for PoE where you get on, you play a league, and you're like, okay, and then you just go and you play another league, and you're like, okay, you know, like bro, some
I
point you gotta
expect
go.
PoE to be good.
Yes.
That's my only
Like
expectation.
if I'm expending time and effort to play your game, I expect
It better be good.
to. I expect, yeah, exactly. Or guess what? I do have other games I do go and play.
Like this.
Indeed.
Yeah, like this. These are fucking times. My little time sync Vampire Survivors games. I heard you're making one, Zaylee, or at least attempting.
Fucking
to.
oath. Do you want to see it?
How is it functioning already?
Yeah, fucking oath it is.
Nice. Give me a moment. After we're surely disappointed. No, I'm kidding.
It's like
We're
I've
not
got
gonna be disappointed.
I have one ability, one upgrade, and one enemy build, but it functions, so
But
it
it
won't be very long.
So I mean, like once you get past the functioning part, just adding extra shit, you know.
That's
Comes that
literally
much
what I got
easier.
up to. Yeah, it's fucking.
Because I was
Oh.
talking to one of the guys on the forums that like make these kind of games and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, you know, it was
Yeah.
like after I got past the first concept and like got
Completely
it
trivial.
working, he was like, just adding characters, adding new shit was just like, yeah, no, okay, yeah.
I can't.
Do I need to add
can't
shit?
wait.
Done. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
do I
I've
need
been
to
adding
fix
one
this?
thing,
Done.
one thing every day that I finish work. I'm calling it Mechanical God
Here you go.
because you have to ascend into a mechanical god. All right, all I've got is one ability, and this little circle thing. That's what I'm adding in currently. Okay, nice. We'll get that little dude. Yeah, nice. We'll get you.
Why are we looking at Discord?
Nice. Get that little dude over here. Oh, this will get me a level. Yeah, sick.
We're looking at Discord, not the game.
Hold on, let me.
You're looking at.
Yeah,
What
Zale.
the fuck is wrong with this fucking streaming shit? I choose to stream a screen and it streams Discord.
Oh, my cat got up so I could sit up straight.
Alright, well, we'll restart that whole fucking demo. Fuck you, Discord. Suck my dick.
Dude, I see. Okay, there.
Now
it
we
is.
can
I was,
see it.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh fuck, I see Discord.
Okay.
You're good now.
Alright.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty simple. It's called Mechanical God.
It's
You have
even
to
got
be
it.
the Mechanical God.
It's even got its own. Oh shit! It's got spinnies, some shooties.
Oh, that's the new ability. I'm currently working on that. It
Yeah,
doesn't do anything
every
at the moment.
single one needs a fucking shit spins around you for X
Oh,
amount of
there's gonna be,
duration.
There's gonna be like 5 different spinny things, and you
Yes.
can mix them all together into one build if you want. Oh, nice. All right, I've only got attack speed and that same ability, so I'll choose attack speed.
So,
So
I
yeah,
would.
it's working.
There,
I
that's.
can
what matters.
fucking give me some more experience orbs. I can just like spawn a bunch of them. As in, like I've got all the functions here ready to go. I can spawn more enemies if I want. And just,
And
like,
you even
we can
have
just
your
keep going.
selections there, and that whole
Yeah.
thing works because that's
I can give
apparently
myself,
he was
yeah,
saying
everything.
like the RNG spawn and all that shit for that, like those menus would fuck up nonstop every time he would add a brand new one. Yeah, like and so he on his you can replace your skills, and he said
Yeah, same.
the programming portion where he was
Oh, dear.
changing out his skills, he had to start telling it, hey, fucking stop using the skill I just told you to forget. And he said there was a big problem for a while because it would just keep using the skill. So all you had to do was just get each one of the skills once, and you would have every single skill active at all times. he was telling me that was a fucking big headache for a while.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, well, I've got the whole base game. I mean, I took a day off yesterday, but the whole week until Sunday I spent just building the mechanics of the game, and it's completely done now, which is cool. I can just build abilities and just add shit. Yeah, because I got all these assets sitting here for a twin stick shooter because I just abandoned my twin stick shooter, so I'm just reusing all of that.
Oh yeah.
Half of this shit I've already done. It's so good. Yeah, it's fun. yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and just keep adding abilities into it, and then probably release it for $10 in like January next year or something.
Yeah, you know it's
That's it.
insane, like how much like money these guys are making by pumping these
Yeah.
out too.
Soulspawn Survivors has got 5,000 reviews already. So
Yep.
if you take your normal metric,
I
it's
have
made 10
I was
times
actually
that
gonna
amount of
reference.
money.
I was gonna reference Soulsborne Survivors because honestly, that one in its current state is my number one.
It's the best one.
It is
Yeah,
my number
absolutely.
one by far.
Are you playing it right now? I'm just playing it
No,
on the
I'm
weekends.
playing. I'm playing Titty. What do you call it? Titty Survivors, basically.
Okay.
I shit you not. Turn on my stream. All right.
I believe it.
Let me know when you got the stream up. I'll show you my menu screen.
It looks pretty crazy.
Yeah.
This is definitely what I'm looking for.
We're evolving some shit. Titties.
Really, I was about to say you're a fucking demon bitch.
I'm a big titty demon bitch on this one. Oh, but it gets better.
Yes,
This one.
lightning abilities. I
This-
can't wait to put them in.
Oh, forking, bro.
Yeah,
Forking
man,
and
fork
chain
and
and
chain.
all that kind of shit. Good stuff. Also, he said that the collision for this was a bitch.
Oh yeah, so I've written my own collision system for this
Yeah.
because yeah, it was, and I couldn't be fucked with it.
But yeah, so this game was originally a non-sexual content game, and then enough people were like, "Look, we can totally make the hentai for it, and we can make the titties for it if you were willing to put it in." So they're like, "Fine, we'll release a whole nother version of the game with your guys' titties and shit in it," and bam, here we are. This is like they literally released a second version of their game just to input the titties that people were requesting. I mean, my big titty enemy waifus.
Oh, this one looks cool as well, but the clarity is like everything's the same fucking color.
Right, very hot. It is a very hot screen. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Blood sludge. Okay, I died to this guy.
Blood sludge.
I died to this guy so many times. Where is he? He's slow as fuck, but once you start breaking him apart and shit, he just starts chunking your guys. But yes.
Right, and bosses. There'll be bosses for sure.
My
Just haven't
two
got to that
my double succubi fucking spawns here. My ultimate, which I think this is a really good add, which is like having the each character has their own special ultimate they can activate.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get
I was
invulnerability
thinking about doing
timers
that.
when you do it, so it's like there's no harm in actually doing it. But
Fuck yeah! Now you want an ultimate? I'm definitely lifting that idea for sure.
yeah.
That's a sick idea.
So I actually have I think 7 souls. Oh yeah, not souls. Survivor likes on my PC right now, and each one of them mostly have different concepts to them, and
Yeah, sick.
like
That's what I'm going for my one too. Like same game, slightly different concept. I'm gonna have like the Tower of Ascension. You like go up the tower.
he's real.
Something like that. Like on fucking Soul Calibur 4 if you've played that. The tower. I love that level.
Oh
You just
yeah,
keep going up higher and
Oh.
higher and fighting harder people.
that's such a good.
Oh, and I
evolution.
can't wait for these, like putting in like the slot machine sounds.
So this shield that I got is fucking busted. Like so, it's called Energy Shield, but it gets evolved into where the fuck Inferno Shield. So anytime a mob would have done damage to me, it fucking explodes, and it just does like 500, 600 damage.
This looks a lot better than Soulspawn, but the graphics look better, I reckon. I just
And
think
Soulsborne?
yeah, I think the graphical style looks.
Oh yeah,
better
I would argue that the stylistically I would like this one more, but being able to turn off the skills,
damage numbers.
so I can't fucking see them. Like that was by far one of the best. Shoots out freezing beams, frozen orb.
I liked how I could turn off damage numbers. They do my head in this.
Yeah,
game.
that too.
There-
I
There's
like
just a bit too many of them.
There's a whole list of like must-haves. Like I think
All right. I'll definitely be consulting you and sending you the demo. I was gonna come to this channel anyway and send the demo in, but as soon as I actually have some skills and upgrades and shit in there, all the systems are done now. I'll send it to you.
the one problem I'm having with Soulsborne, and I don't know if you're having the same issue. Since you're playing, I figure I can ask you.
I can't
But-
get past the second match because
Okay.
it disables half my skills.
Well,
I stopped
okay,
playing it.
okay. So that is another one of the things that I was gonna ask you about. I was like, so on the
Yeah.
difficulty scaling, do you find that there's only like 3 builds that actually function all the way through?
Yeah. I haven't played it completely. I've just been
I'm
upgrading
waiting
and
on that.
going through.
Oh, okay, I'm waiting on updates right now. That's
So I
actually
haven't gotten to the end yet. So maybe I'm not at your stage yet.
yeah. I'm at a point where oh my god, my
Well,
screen
that just got nuts.
actually aids now. Okay. I can't see where I'm going, and I see that I am taking damage, so I need to stop running into stuff. Maybe I just stand still now. Oh, but there's a buff down there. Alright. A box. I want to go touch the box. So the relic system, I think, is a really cool addition, even though this relic in particular kind of breaks the game. Even though it has such a low percent chance of, like, dropping a box. The fact that it has a percent chance of dropping a box on every mob kill is kind of busted.
Yeah, there's a few things that'd just be fucked. I'm slowly discovering. You just put it in like, oh, this is a cool idea. Whoa, no.
Like, the main reason why I like to take it... Uh-oh, that means I took a lot of damage.
Titty lady's coming for you.
No, if you take too much damage, she starts losing clothing. I was streaming this, and I was like, I probably should not have this up on my stream, or I just have to really not suck. Because if you get down to very, very low health, you freaking your titties come out. The one thing I do, like, I think spacing in waves means a lot more. Like when you get this many mobs on the screen, and the fact that like
Yeah, there's
a lot of the time they don't give you space to go.
yeah,
through.
they're not mobbing. They're not mobbing you very much in what you're playing right now. As in, like, you're just moving around, like, kind of fucking. Yeah, I'll go over here, go over there. That's definitely something that I want to like add in. Positioning should be really important.
One of the first couple rounds last night that there was.
I was having a lot of issues. Yeah. No, like so I'm clearing shit fast enough right now. It doesn't matter. But this game does get to a point where like they just block off giant waves of your fucking position. You can't move.
Okay, cool.
And that's
Yeah,
it's irritating as a player because there should be some skill aspect to it. Like, right, I picked a good path. Boom. I made it through the hole. Right.
I'm putting dashing in. I like dashing.
The dashing was really nice.
I'm not putting it in as fast as Soulborn as well, because it gets too fast too quickly. You can't scale it after a certain point, I reckon.
I think it's just it's the rate at which the mobs are also casting and attacking become a fucking issue on Souls.
Yeah.
Because you double dodge, you double dodge past the first boss's attack. The third boss is now fucking pushing your shit in. The fourth boss fucking swings through. Now you've just killed too many mobs. You spawned another 3. Now you got 7 bosses on the field. Like it just gets to a point where you're like, what the actual fuck is going on? Oh, I just gotta kill everything.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, large giant beams from the sky. I love those shit. There's gonna be heaps of those. That bombardment ability, that is actually what made me make my own game. I got that ability and leveled it up heaps, and like I'm just walking around, there's shit exploding everywhere, and I'm like, this is awesome! And I'm like, I can do this. I can make a game like this. And I started doing it immediately. So, safe to say, Sleepy's the one who he wrote a fucking review on it on Steam, and I saw it, and it was just like, this is really good. You should get this. I'm like, all right, fucking I will.
You know what's
like,
funny?
Played it all weekend.
the person who put me on it was actually Kicker's buddy. One of the Dredge Trucks. I can never remember his name all the way. Hey, oh no, I feel bad.
The guy just here, Casimir.
No, not Casimir. Give me a second. I'll find it. How much time do we have left? 4 minutes.
minutes.
Oh,
4 minutes 30. I'm
Oh.
gonna go make a coffee real quick. I'll be back.
they're showing
We're gonna-
skills and stuff. and
Oh, it's build of the week. That's cool. Build of the week is cool.
That's
I
a
need to
pretty
do
cool
more.
build of the week. Self-shock
Right.
lightning
Well,
conduit.
They were all pretty fucking sick, I thought.
100% would crash my computer. Probably,
Yeah.
probably not. But,
It looks so cool.
oh my god.
That MTX.
Oh my
you know,
God.
that MTX thing.
Oh yeah, they added it because so many people were playing lightning conduit. They just decided that they were gonna make a fucking lightning conduit skin,
Good.
which I mean makes sense.
Yeah.
Metals.
Oh yeah.
I like how they didn't even talk to Mathel at all about that. He goes, yeah, they didn't even tell me about that. They just did it.
Yeah,
I
just put 'em
don't
on.
know what you're talking. You can't even see that much of the screen.
Who needs to see the
It's
screen
not
when
fair.
everything dies?
Alright, fucking making coffee.
Yeah.
I think they also voted these in based on how much MDX you're using.
Real. All these are viable league starts. Check W.
Rolling Magma actually is.
Yeah. This I love this skill. Rolling magma is such a fun fucking skill to level up with too. You get a LE Pro lift with it, like for leveling. It's just so quick. Oh, this is the really high life self blow up character that fucking Sleepy played this league. I think
Yeah,
his
the fucking
character had like
wand or whatever.
20, 25 or 30k health.
What was the pact? What's the name of the fucking weapon?
It's something of the pack.
Relic of the pact?
I think it's that. It's pretty close to that, if not that one.
And then it's Blood Sacrament. It's the
Yep.
skill.
Blood Sacrament. I heard loot drop. Got my attention. Oh yeah, this one was pretty cool. I like this one.
Using sack walls, right?
Yeah. His Sackles is flipping back and forth. So that way he can just keep casting a bunch of the tornadoes. Yeah, put lightning warp on it so you can move around a little bit faster. I was glad that there was a fucking build that utilized tornado. Because I felt like tornado was a really cool concept, but nobody used it. Oh, 1 minute. 1 minute. Alright, I'm going to shut this off. Sorry, Isaiah. You go on hold. Look at my stocks. My stock is really up right now. Freaking fire. I'm up 200% today. Right.
25. 24.
1080p, boys. 1080p. If only we could watch this on YouTube and watch it in 8K. Could be buffering nonstop. Oh, I love these auto bomber builds. Honestly, I think I need to make an auto bomber build this league. Oh, the hot stepper, the frostblink fucking crazy build. Yeah. You just fucking jump from pack to pack to pack. You like you don't even have to full clear. You literally just speed run through your map. It's such an insane build. Honestly, I think this build would be a fun one to fucking play. Because your cooldown gets almost reduced to nothing if you hit a magic. I mean, a rare.
What about uniques?
Uniques, it's instant. You get it
Oh,
back.
so you just spam the fuck out of it?
Yeah, watch. Okay, it's not instant, but it's really fast.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson
Hey.
from Grind.
Hey, it's Chris.
Joining us
Welcome
for today's
back,
live
Chris.
stream as we reveal our upcoming expansion, The Forbidden Sanctum, which launches on December 9th
Where the
on
fuck should I
PC
put
and Mac, and on December 14th on
This
console.
will go here.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the
Oh,
instructions
shit.
below in order
Oh
to
shit!
claim
I forgot to
your
put
Bloodguard coins.
their Twitch stream
Here's
on.
what you can expect from today's live stream. We'll start by debuting the
Oh wait, I'm
trailer for
watching it
Forbidden
right now.
Sanctum, and we'll
I'm
then do a
fucking
deep
stupid
dive on the league
sometimes.
itself. We'll cover this expansion's new endgame revamps and content,
Wait,
and then we'll
endgame.
have a look at all the new skills we're introducing.
New skins.
We'll then reveal some new unique items and the massive buffs and rarity adjustments we have made to a variety of endgame unique weapons.
I cannot
We'll
hold
then
myself.
briefly cover some balance topics that we have posted articles about recently: jewels, curses, and the replacement of the arch nemesis monster mod system. Finally, we'll discuss the upcoming release of the optional Ruthless game mode before touching on some quality of life improvements and the new supporter packs. The livestream concludes with a Q&A session between Ziggy D and me, where we'll answer questions from Twitch chat. Then we'll drop the full patch notes. Let's get started with a trailer for The Forbidden Sanctum, which launches in 1 week.
Many have met their fate here in the shade of Fell Shrine. So step lightly. But here you are bound by new rules. My rules.
Okay. Almost one shot.
Each step with gold to tempt you. A foe to wound you. A curse to spite you.
Oh, there it is.
But do not give up, for vast riches await the bold.
Oh.
Pillage this sanctum if you must. And one day you may uncover its secrets.
Huh. Boss fight league. Okay. Hold up. Oh no. They buffed Void. Wait a minute. Hold. That should not exist. Hold up. That's a lot of points. Okay. Okay. Honestly, I'm here for a boss fight league. It's about time. I have to actually play a boss fighting character. Yeah. Mama, come here. Fight league, mama.
The Forbidden Sanctum is an old Templar enclave, long rumored to be hidden beneath the Fell Shrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time, it is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there. The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Rayclass
There it is.
in Path of Exile. In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead, enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous. Like most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try. Getting to
Not
the
to be
deeper
able to do
floors
it on my
requires
first try, but you
experience,
can.
knowledge, and luck. You should expect that your early attempts will fail, but over time, you'll be able to push yourself farther and farther. As
He's
you
not
progress
actually dead.
deeper into the Sanctum, you'll find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors. Eventually,
Wait a
by
minute.
endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss. Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is going. In the Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here. As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends.
Oh.
Your level of resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself.
Oh no.
The resolve mechanic applies equally to all build archetypes. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards in the Sanctum, and these telegraphed attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion,
Damn it.
armor, or block. While these attacks
Is it on
do
yet?
some
When-
nominal
wait,
damage
when
to
is it
your
on?
regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve. This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms, where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered.
Yeah, that's a
Another
melee
aspect
rip,
of the
dog.
resolve system
This
is
is
that
not a
characters
melee
who are
league.
struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually
Yeah.
having
Where
to
the fuck's
die,
the stream?
avoiding experience loss or
Oh, all the way
hardcore
down
death.
there. What the fuck? Just
So
preach.
maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum,
That's gonna be.
and that means making careful choices of what rooms you enter. Let's have a look at some of the things that Sanctum rooms can contain.
Got my coffee.
Afflicted
do
rooms cause you
Lacerate
to
or
gain an
Reeve.
affliction when you enter them.
Flicker.
Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult. For example, reducing your resolve recovery, causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map, or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you. These minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into
No,
the run,
not
making it more
VDs.
challenging. Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of resolve. So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great. But every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run. In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons. Boons are beneficial buffs that help you as you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration.
Okay.
Major boons don't come along often, but have large effects, such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out. Due to the vast variety of afflictions and boons, no 2 runs are the same. Generally speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're running.
Huh.
Some rooms in the Sanctum contain a fountain, which will restore some of your lost resolve.
Okay.
Others contain afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost. Rooms with a treasure reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they used for commerce within their Sanctum. You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your Sanctum run ends.
Oh.
Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts your Aureus coins in exchange for boons. Plan your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase. Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the Sanctum will present you with the choice of making an accursed pact. You are given several pacts to choose from, and can even opt to take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off. In addition to rewards that help you progress through the Sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist. Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also offered a more valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the Sanctum. It's a gamble, because if you fail your run before you reach and defeat the boss, you will not receive the reward you picked. Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing. At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline, you'll discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when the run ends.
Okay,
They persist
that's what
throughout
I was
the league as a
hoping
permanent
for.
source of meta progression. Acquiring
because
new and better relics is one of the ways you can push farther and farther with each run you try.
Cool.
Relics
Okay.
cannot
Cool
be
system.
crafted and cannot be traded, as they
Man,
represent your personal
they must have been the
progression
first
throughout the
people
league.
that ever made this
You'll
system.
accumulate more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune your strategy from run to run. You can store your extra relics in the Relic Locker, a free storage space like the Expedition Locker.
Oh, thank God.
We don't want to spoil important story details, but the end boss of the Forbidden Sanctum can drop unique items from a pool exclusive to this league. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet called Eternal Damnation. This amulet offers a powerful way to gain additional elemental mitigation by introducing the concept of
It's
elemental
garbage
damage
unique.
reduction.
Okay.
Despite the drawback of reducing
Damn, my
max
boy
number of
said
resistances,
1
if
C.
you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than compensated for. Because of the
Thank you, Cal.
roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience. You may fail on the way, so if you do manage it, expect a good experience boost for your achievement.
Oh, that was a lot of XP. What level is he?
Another reward you can find is a special type of relic called a Sanctified Relic that has mods that directly affect your character's build. You can only unlock
Sick.
one slot for this
Oh.
type of relic.
They're account
While
bound,
these
can't be
relics
traded.
can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find
That's
special
fine.
reward rooms in the Sanctum that can modify them. These relics exist for this league only.
But they're
and provide
rare,
a
that means
boost
that
to
there's-
character power for players who are able to master the Sanctum.
Or uncommon. So there's
The
rares
Sanctum League
and
offers a roguelike experience that tempts you into
probably
taking
unique.
risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your
It's
experiences
basically
next week.
Labyrinth, but if you suck, you get
In
kicked
each
out.
expansion leading up to Path of Exal's release,
That's
improve your Path of
that's
Exal's
just what I just got there.
new content
It's
available
Labyrinth,
and
but if you get hit
improvements
by the
to
traps,
your
you
endgame
get fucked.
experience. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're
It's all
revamping the
mechanics.
Atlas tree, reworking how Eldritch Altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories. The Atlas tree is generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address.
Oh no.
The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses, providing extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to specialize your tree for regular mapping, save up all of your boss fights, then respec fully into boss mode, and then do
Pretty
all of
much,
your save
yeah.
up boss fights before spec.
I don't
It-
like it very much.
It's literally what you guys said that you wanted us to do.
One build and then just play the game. We have removed all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree, and have
Okay.
baked some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights.
Oh,
For example, you don't need to allocate the Gaze into the Abyss notable that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye, as he just has that drop chance
Nice.
built in now.
okay.
The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every
That's a
map.
buff, for
We
sure.
also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues even more deeply on the Atlas tree. For each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you disable, we've added a bunch more passives to the tree. These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before. We are making a number of changes to Eldritch Altars that mostly affect their rewards, but will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currencies, Scarab, and Divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get.
I'm gonna need the
For
numbers on
example,
that app.
instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop. As part
That's
of this
pretty
change,
nice.
we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such as Orbs of
Chance to get
Augmentation
an
and
additional
Orbs of
chaos orb.
Transmutation.
Hey, at least now you know
Good.
it's fucking
Scarabs.
working.
These will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset this. Rusted Scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a
Oh.
vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your Scarabs up to Gilded using
Oh.
the normal 3-to-1 ratio.
Cool.
Oh,
You can also perform this action from your Fragment tab using the new upgrade
Really wish
button.
I had that for SSF.
We've made reward types exclusive
Oh.
to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target farm a certain reward.
oh.
To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've
Wow.
also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos Keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to
Yup,
use it
it
despite
was
its extreme
insane.
level of difficulty. It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down. You can now also get awakened gems from defeating Maven Witness map bosses. This additional reward helps further balance the expected returns from the various
But that's
types of influence.
sick!
For more detail on these changes, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted
Oh,
last week,
man.
or the upcoming patch notes.
I really like that change.
Let's see.
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we introduced Atlas Memories. When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past.
Cool.
These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve
Okay,
new
these were
challenges,
fun.
exciting
Some of these were
rewards.
fun. Some of them
In this
kind of
expansion, we've
lacking.
introduced 2 new Atlas memories.
I
describing
always
events
did these when I
related
had
to
them. I
beast
really
raid
liked them.
domination.
I used all of them.
The
Some
beast
of
raid
them were
memory line
interesting.
allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your
It
menagerie.
gives me
Oh.
like a
These harvest
thing
beasts
to
can
do
be
on the
used in
map.
9
It's
new
really cool.
crafting recipes.
Oh,
These recipes cover an
Wait.
array of options. For example, you can remove one of the special modifiers from a Watcher's Eye Jewel and then add
What?
another. This can have potent results, but
What?
won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield
Yeah.
modifiers.
That's cool.
oh, what?
From one type to another.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
Another example is that you can also reroll a synthesis implicit
Oh.
modifier.
That's
If your item has more than one synthesis implicit, it will randomly reroll
all
one.
the people that kept their like
The
fucking
Domination
stash
Atlas memory
tabs of
thrusts you into a
synthesis
tale of
items.
Pantheon gods that stand watch
Yep.
over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that
Cool.
buff for yourself.
I have quite a few quad
This
tabs.
Atlas memory
Yo.
introduces a new set of
Sized items.
shrines, specialized buffs,
Man.
guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards.
I'm about to rock the Blunderbore
The
setup
Spectre
again.
expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from
Fracturing
harvesters,
orb.
fracturing shards. When combined together into a full currency item, you get the fracturing
Oh,
orb, which behaves the same as the fracturing craft from Harvest. It
Awesome.
can be used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers.
What?
When
Oh,
the orb is
no.
applied, it locks one of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier.
Oh
Items
no.
fractured in this way can only have one fractured modifier.
It'd be fairly
15
expensive.
divines.
behind the Oshabi fight in Harvest.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
shabby.
right.
Harbinger,
It's behind a
this
shabby.
crafting option is
Never
no
mind.
longer available. This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest Life Force and Oshabi kills on other crafts. Because fracturing shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to target farm them by speccing into Harbinger content on your Atlas.
Took it away from Harvest, so they might as well just get rid of
The
Harvest at this
Forbidden
point. Come on.
Sanctum expansion
Wait.
introduces
They moved
new
that
skill
to.
gems. In addition to some
An
new
orb.
melee
They
val
moved
skills
that to
we'll discuss later in the live
Harbingers?
stream, there are 2
Yeah.
totally new skills. that we'll be covering today.
Holy Harvey buff.
Volcanic Fissure is a new fiery
Okay.
slam skill that
Molten-
can be used with
Molten
staves,
Strike?
maces, axes, and unarmed
Molten strike at
attacks.
a distance.
Looks
Strike the ground
sick.
to create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting as the fissure gets as
Wait a
close
minute.
as it can reach.
What?
Cool.
It releases a burst.
It
of
has
I kinda
fire
wanna
actual
play
smart.
that.
that
Actually has
explodes
smart
straight through.
targeting. Fog.
Enemies hit by multiple
Wow.
enemies will take a lot of stacked
Looks
damage.
cool as well.
Use it
Okay.
up close for reliable bursts of damage or aim
Well,
fire
I
away
can
to
see this
damage a
thing
larger area.
Having an interesting.
Molten
setup.
Strike
Is an
Slam.
unusual
Yeah.
spell. Summoning
Yeah.
a ring of icy statues.
Oh!
attack with your
There's
own
my skill,
weapon.
Lily.
The skill has multiple cooldown stacks and consumes all cooldown uses at once.
You know what that
instead of a
reminds me
statue
of?
for each remaining cooldown.
Duressa fight.
Statues perform a sweeping ice slash, and these sweeps
That
can
looks
overlap,
so cool.
resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you. The spell can be
Still
used with
technically
staves,
not a
maces,
melee
and
skill.
axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the
More
statues will use
importantly-
your attack speed, you should instead
It's-
prioritize the spell's own cast time.
That
and
is
cooldown.
cool. I like it.
This expansion also introduces
Oh.
many new Val melee skills. As you know, equipping a Val skill gem grants you both the Val and regular version of the skill.
Okay.
Indeed.
As you kill enemies,
Val
the gem
flicker strikes?
charges up with their souls. After a certain number are collected, the Val
What
skill can
will
be
it
used
do?
once. Most of the new Val skills introduced in this expansion are melee skills,
Kills you
and this
instantly.
results in an indirect
Creates
buff to any
5
melee
clones
builds
of
that
you.
use one of these skills. Where previously you'd just be using your melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use a superpowered version of
man.
the skill. If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Val Flicker Strike. It really does
Yes,
have the
yes,
effect of
yes,
real
yes,
fake
yes.
the wheel. Val Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my! It's literally
What
your
is
build.
this?
Deal any damage to the enemies you
Kill
slap.
this league.
You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating fortify stacks. When you finish flickering, if you survived, of course, you'll be rewarded with a single huge
If you
damage
survive,
to
of
enemies.
course.
Oh
Val Cleave is
my!
a new Val skill that buffs the behavior as
That looks so
non-Val
bad though.
version, in a similar
That
way to
looks
how Val
shit.
Cleave works.
Yeah.
But it's this.
Val Cleave
It's still
triggers
hitting.
two
It's
buffs.
It's
Cleave.
still
One
flicker
when you kill
strike.
a rare enemy, and
But
one
you get
when
an
kill
extra
either
hit,
a rare
like a
or unique
massive
enemy.
hit.
The latter is a strong buff to regular cleave,
Oh.
which you can keep up almost permanently if you're able to
My
kill
mind
rare
is
or
boggled.
unique enemies often enough. The bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time.
The first
You
flicker
can
strike
Wait.
change.
Ah, free
Yes.
headhunter.
without
Yes.
actually needing to find one.
What?
Overall, Val Cleave is a pretty powerful
They
upgrade to
just
any
made
melee
it a
build that
headhunter
kills
item so people would
That
use
plus
it.
2 radius buff is
Okay, I'll
good
use
now,
it.
right?
Please buff
You got me.
Cleave
W.
is good though. Like
We'll showcase
Yeah.
the other new Val skills we're introducing over the coming week. The
Hmm.
Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces over 15 new.
Here's
unique
my
items,
email,
from
don't
Sanctum
hurt
exclusive
me.
units to ones that can be found from Path of
What a
Exile's
gun.
pinnacle bosses. I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races.
Oh yeah, I forgot about these.
Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask that was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Maven. It's a defensive flask that grants a mini version of the Petrified Blood effect, but without requiring you to be on low life.
You see.
This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of incoming damage.
Sounds like it
That's
should be
right.
an actual mechanic in the game.
Rational Doctor is a unique jewel that was designed by Rawlings and drops from Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent profane ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and drop from the Uber Shaper. Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale on crit.
Holy.
So let's
Those are
talk
gonna
about
be
unique
expensive.
weapons, specifically endgame unique weapons. In many ways, the weapon is the
Savior
most
buff?
iconic and important item on a character, so it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status. While some
That
unique
better not
weapons
be
have
it for
special
melee
properties
tweaks.
that
Won't be
enable
sad.
entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary
it
source of your character's damage. We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored.
True.
If they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons.
Not true.
Interestingly, the above problem doesn't apply to belts. Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts.
True.
That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably get one in a league. Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades to their build, rather than something they're certain to get. In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity as Mageblood and
What?
Headhunter. We are
Wait,
buffing them
Soul
with
Taker
gigantic
is now-
amounts and
They
making them
doubled the
stronger.
flat fizz.
Fine.
Holy,
Whoa.
they made Soul
Whoa.
Taker
Used to be
more
an exciting item.
harder to get,
Well,
which
after this
means
change,
that
it certainly is
Kingmaker
again.
is harder to
It
get.
still drops exclusively from the Shaper and
Holy
the Uber Shaper,
shit.
but it'll take a lot of runs or a lot of luck to earn
Okay.
it.
Starforge?
Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons that have been massively
Oh.
buffed. We have targeted around 10 iconic underused
Okay.
unique weapons and have generally buffed only their damage stat, but by a lot.
Yeah, by quite a bit.
We've
Yeah,
made a
they're
number of changes
way
to jewels that
stronger
we
now.
covered in a
I don't
recent
like that
balance
Soul
episode,
Taker change.
But in case you missed it, we want to quickly
That's
summarize
a
what the
minion
changes
nerf.
are.
Yeah, the jewels are
In the
gonna
Forbidden
change
Sanctum
big time.
expansion, We have made jewels a better
yeah,
source
that's-
of ailment
that's also
mitigation
true.
by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel
Oh.
modifiers and adding new
Ooh,
modifiers
almost
that enable
50%
mitigation to a
chance.
wider variety of ailments than
Jeez.
before.
Well,
We've
that's
also
kind of worth
removed
it.
some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available on jewels through corruption, because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod pool. This also means that other desirable corruption modifiers, like immunity to corrupting blood, are more likely to roll. We want the moment of finding a unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very
Good.
powerful unique jewels and have removed some
Oh,
old, less interesting
that could be
ones.
really good,
An
actually.
example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates any modifiers to your ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments. If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of ignites on you, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment. For full information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the balance
Oh, that's
manifesto
sick.
post we made recently.
Interesting.
There we go.
We've rebalanced
It's
curses
hardcore.
to make them
I'm pretty sure I'm
stronger
still gonna be a
against
Bane boy,
against unique
but we'll
monsters
see.
and pinnacle bosses. We have buffed several Hex-related unique items and reworked unique items that previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related keystone from the past.
That's a
Infinite
fact.
We've
Duration.
introduced some powerful new
That
unique
ring
items
is
that
gonna
interact with
be-
hexes
Yeah,
that
I saw that ring and I
lead up to
damn
lore.
near fucking blew
For
my
more
load.
details on changes to curses, check out the balance manifesto we posted
Yeah,
recently,
maximum power
or the patch
charges.
notes that will come out
And you can
after
hit
the
I
power
live
wanted
charge
to go
on it.
melee until I saw that.
When we first created the Arch Nemesis monster
Here we
mod
go.
system,
Okay.
our goal was
God.
to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods with new and interesting mechanics that have modern
I'm glad they
gameplays. We
just
feel that
rolled
Arch
this
Nemesis
back.
did
I'm so
introduce
glad.
A lot of interesting mechanics, but it unfortunately had several of its own problems. We have replaced Arch Nemesis with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past. The new monster mods are a lot simpler. They now each do one thing.
I
and
can
very
understand
clearly
it
state
when I
what they
read it
do.
now.
Each encounter with a
Did
red
that
monster
dude
is
just
now
say
less
light?
complex, and
Making
it's
it
easier
shock
to understand in the
resistant?
heat of combat
Yeah.
compared to Arch
Crit
Nemesis.
resistant.
You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy
Lightning
will be
Mirage
rarer
when
than
hit.
it was in
That all
Arch
makes
Nemesis.
sense to me.
The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments that get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the arch nemesis.
Yeah, I want to know
system.
what to expect when I'm fighting it.
Let's talk about rewards. Under Arch Nemesis, it often felt mandatory to bring in a magic find
Yes.
character to kill some
Yes, it
monsters
was.
for you in order to maximize your
And I made a
rewards.
fuck ton
In the
off
new
of it.
system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific
Sad.
mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill
Okay.
the monster.
Get fucked,
So
magic
Some
find
mods will let you
characters.
have these special
Yeah,
TFT.
all the time now.
They're just trying to kill
To find out
TFT.
more about other balance changes that are taking place in the
Yeah,
Forbidden
good.
Sanctum, check out the patch notes, which will be available when the live stream ends.
I still find it hilarious.
Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been
Ruthless?
tinkering with a
What's
more challenging way to play
Ruthless?
I played Ruthless. Ruthless was very fun.
known as Ruthless. For the
It
last
depends
year.
on how much you like to
We're
put your
planning
dick in
to
a
make it
cheese
available to
grater.
anyone who's interested in
Ruthless!
playing
It's not that bad.
Forbidden Sanctum next week.
Ruthless!
It's actually very
Yeah,
interesting.
It's
Ruthless is an
ruthless.
optional additional character pack, like hardcore or solo self-found, that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to
Oh,
play.
interesting.
Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path
Why
of
is he
Exile,
saying it?
but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead
just the
focuses
accent.
on
It's
reducing
fucking
character
funny
points
as.
through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and
I'm
many other
purposely
changes
saying
such as support gems being
He's
drop
saying
only.
it right. It's fine.
We've posted an article about the philosophy and
Ruthless.
rules of
Ruthless.
Ruthless on Path of Exile.com/Ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week.
I probably
In
won't
addition
play
to
that,
being
but that's cool they have
character
it.
Like hardcore or
Yeah.
solo self-found.
I'll play
It's
it
also
then.
available as a modifier for private leagues.
Yeah,
To
true.
be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum League content can be played in Ruthless with appropriately balanced rewards.
Okay.
Ruthless is still very experimental.
just looks so
during
slow.
320, and we won't be
It-
afraid
it
to make
is.
mid-league balance changes to it during this
It's like Lake of
experimental phase.
Kalanja League.
Ruthless is not for everyone, but so far it has found a supportive and growing group of players who
That
enjoy
is
the
what it
additional
felt like
challenge
playing
it brings.
this league.
If it sounds like something you're interested in, then try it out next time you're looking for a new way to enjoy Path of Exile.
That's exactly how I'm
This
gonna use it.
expansion also contains a number of
Yep.
small quality of life improvements. Some examples are Divine Vessels can now be used
Ah,
by
thank
right-clicking
fuck
them.
damn it,
Oh my god, yes!
Years?
On the player overhead life bar, the bar is split into a separate bar. You can now
Nice.
right-click an itemized Temple of Atsuatl to see its layout.
Nice.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
most importantly, beast crafting recipes.
Oh,
mods to cards
finally!
can actually say what the mods
Fuck
do.
me!
We'll post more information.
Oh,
about
that
how
is
quality
fucking
of
great.
mods
This
and
is
I
great.
forget this every league.
Today
Yeah.
we're launching
And I have
two
to
new
look it
series of
up
supporter
every
packs,
time.
The Forge and Gemling packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs will only be available for the duration of the
Yeah,
Sanctum
we'll
challenge,
see
and will
about
leave the
this
store forever in
time.
3 months.
You're not gonna get me
As
this
always,
time.
These microtransactions are entirely cosmetic and do not affect your character's progression.
I don't know, that leveling up
The Forge
cosmetic.
series of supporter packs
Pretty
contains
pog.
6 exclusive microtransactions.
Oh,
Whatever that
Ooh.
looked cool as fuck.
The
Yeah, the
clockwise
Forge.
back attachment ramps up as you build a kill streak, building pressure and releasing it when your streak ends.
Sick.
okay.
I like the death one. I
I've
still
blown
use the
my
death one.
load.
That's dumb.
Smoke screen.
The
It's
Delirious
silly,
hideout
yeah.
decoration lets you
Jetpack.
Summon delirium fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices.
Oh!
and
Fart
dazzling
lol.
apparitions.
Oh no.
I want that.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh
I want that.
no. Oh.
I want that so bad.
Oh.
That is cool.
That's very fucking cool.
You know, give me this time,
The Forge Guard armor set summons a hammer and anvil so that everyone nearby can watch you craft.
That's sick.
Wait a minute. Really?
Oh, that's cool.
The series of fused
Oh, wait.
effects turns your item
Oh
lock
my-
into
I want it.
spectator sport. If you
I
click
want
the hit
this.
X link, people watching it even prompted to send a congratulatory message.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
sick.
and they congratulate you.
I'm
Oh
so getting that.
Oh,
I'm so getting that.
Well-
I'm getting that one.
Looks like I'm about to put all of my fucking fusings into.
The portal
I mean, all my
becomes
divines
ruined
into
if you're
fusings.
too
this
far
league.
away from it, causing the crows to take to
Not
the
that it
sky.
matters because I'm playing
That's-
SSF
The
anyway,
High
so.
Templar weapon effect
Sad.
smites the undead you fight and scours the souls of those you put to rest.
Okay. Okay.
That looks
The
cool.
Gemling Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Yo, is
look
is
like
that my
Eric.
boy?
Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play
Is that
force on
Perandus?
swarms
It was
of angry
Brandis.
which erupt from the hive.
Not the bees.
Critical hits cause the hive to
Oh,
send out its best
My
warriors.
god. what the
The
fuck?
Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd. Activating the flask causes a
Oh,
host
that's
of
so
ghostly
s-
rowers
that
to
is
charge your
grenades.
This is the Gemling Artificer armor set. It is
Wait a
inlaid
minute.
with
Oh,
gems
that's
that
sick.
match
Wait a
the gems
minute.
you've socketed in your items.
That's cool.
Bruh.
Crafting gems with gem cutters,
Oh,
Val orbs, or
that
rebranding
looks
lenses
cool.
visualizes the process for all
Oh.
to see. This armor set also includes alternate gem level up effects.
Oh man.
Okay.
Prospero's ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins,
Let's
and
go.
helps you thank players you've traded with through a hard.
Oh yes!
The
Bro.
consuming ooze pet bounces alongside you and devours
That's
corpses
cool.
in your wake, spitting out a
They're
tidal
going
pile of
full
bones.
Lost Ark with their MTX, and I really like it.
Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with Kadiro Perandus, inviting him to your hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and
Decrepit
using its
cunt.
connections to accept your divination cards, he'll provide commentary on your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to do.
That might be a little too much to drink, even for me.
Kadiro has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Cool.
a mighty headhunter. I'm so impressed. Try to duck when the brain fragments splatter everywhere. You wouldn't want to sully your armor.
Did it make me
These
re-look
new
at what
packs are
I'm
available
selling
right
in? What?
now
I put a
on
headhunter in there.
console.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing.
No, but he was wearing a headhunter.
And we really
Yeah, so he
Oh.
was referencing. He was like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
got a headhunter?
Oh, I
Aren't
see you're
you?
wearing a headhunter.
Aren't you a
Right,
fancy
I didn't see that.
motherfucker?"
That's cool as
The
I didn't see
Calandra
that.
edition of Kirik's Vault Pass is only available until the end of the Calandra League, and
Alright.
will be replaced with a new.
So,
Sanctum
I'm
League
not
pass
gonna
with
lie.
Getting that
Sanctum
delirium orb.
options.
That delirium orb.
By the
Fuck
way,
me.
we're hoping to
I'm
film
not
season
gonna
three
lie,
of the
guys,
Calandra
but
League
if
once the
they
Forbidden
put
Sanctum comes out.
the
If
linking
you
one
also
in the
submit your build
Kirax
this season,
Vault,
check the
I
build pad on the
would
class forums on
100%
Hypixel.
have got Kirax Vault this league.
Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D.
Yeah, I didn't
Once
get
that
it.
ends, we'll post the full
It's the only
patch
thing I
notes
didn't
for
get.
the Forbidden Sanctum.
I don't
Then
get
this
them,
week,
but
our
if
finished
that
team
was
will
in
post the
there,
expansion's challenge rewards, information
money.
on how to update your item filters, all new and changed gems, and information on how to prepare for launch. On launch weekend, we expect to release the new mystery box, and we'll follow up with the new Kirik's Vault Pass in the days after launch. Thanks for joining us and checking out the Forbidden Sanctum. We
Okay.
can't wait to join you
Okay.
in Rayclast on December 9th. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready in
I
chat.
do
Okay.
like
It all seems good so far.
the Resolute has me a little bit worried when it comes to the actual league mechanic. Also, how often we run into the league mechanic that wasn't mentioned at all. So it wasn't
I'm
mentioned.
sure we'll find out.
Yeah, so that those were like two of my big like red flags. Definitely, I like the concept of it, the boons, the hits against
The
you.
little roguelike dungeon thing. I love it. I hope
But
it's fun.
it's
yeah.
straight up though. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be popular.
Do you think?
I don't.
Do you think it'll be fun?
I think it'll be enjoyable for a couple times because it is different every time you do it. But I think people are going to min max out of the fun. Like
Okay.
they're gonna realize that it's not worth the effort, and they're gonna do something else.
Good morning.
And then they're gonna
guys.
bitch that it's not worth the
Back
effort
for another Q&A session
on
none
Reddit,
other than
and then Reddit's
Chris
gonna
Wilson
bitch
and
about it.
Chris,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us once again.
We'll see. We'll see though.
Thanks for being here as well.
All the ideas are cool.
Very keen
Balance
to
changes
jump
seem
into,
good.
chatting
The additions are
about
cool.
Forbidden
Good quality
Sanctum
of
straight
life.
away, but as always,
Yeah.
New abilities that
posting
look
for
cool.
sure. Questions
Melee
in the chat?
seems more viable
No,
this
I'll
league.
get
I'm
the
thinking of
moderators
just
will
going
put some
melee to
press
start off
comments
with.
up. So, Part of Exile gets to be so many things. It has gotten. To
I'll
be so many
definitely be
things over
playing
the
it at the
years.
start, at least
You
for a
really,
little bit.
really feel like
Yeah,
you just
I mean,
don't
I'll
need to
100%
make
be
another
playing.
game in any other genre because you can just make a league that is that genre, like make a farming league or a city building league or a roguelike
Yeah, good
league.
as.
True.
I guess it's one poke of the job, but we always try to make sure that when we're designing our leagues, they're games that fit within the idea of being an action RPG. Like they have to involve you killing monsters and finding items in order to fit.
Racing. Racing's the next league, guys. We're gonna ride Roas.
You're killing monsters, or even when you're fishing, you're killing monsters. I look
Yeah,
forward to
there's
the
a
one where we pull
bit of
monsters
an
out of
agenda
the water.
there, Ziggy.
I was planning on pushing the fishing angle.
So that's when you get on the boat and have your fishing league, right?
And you like pull monsters out of the water, right? Like giant fish that you then battle with as they flop around on the deck. That makes sense.
Interesting. That one's under NDA. Sorry.
Oh, I'm in trouble. How do you gain access to the new Forbidden Sanctum?
So
Yeah.
basically, every area you're playing in has a portal that gives you access to it. It basically takes you to the next room that you're playing in the Sanctum in your current run.
Ah, okay. So to clarify then, the Sanctum's divided into rooms, each with their own encounter, and then floors with a boss at the end of each.
Mm.
And then there's the whole Sanctum itself, which is multiple floors?
That's right. So the Sanctum itself has 4 floors, each one guarded by a boss at the end, with the ultimate boss fight at the end of the 4th floor. And each of the floors has 8 rooms, and so a maximum length Sanctum run would be 32 consecutive rooms, which you'd play out over
32
potentially
maps.
32 maps. But it's worth emphasizing that,
32
as with
fucking maps.
most roguelikes, you don't just install it and then happily play through to the end in one go. It's
On
something
top of
you get
everything else
further
you're
and
already
further with
doing.
each run as
Mhm.
you get better meta progression, as you learn more about it, and as you have good versus bad runs.
So you
Have
can
you
already
looked at,
see
like,
where
level
my
scales to the
point is
character
on this,
kind of
though.
as you're leveling
Is
still?
that's a
in
very
the
long
leagues?
progression.
Is there any
to
potential? Do you think
use-
that someone who's like
If
quite
it's
I
fun,
thought
though,
like
You
getting
fuck-
Maven
the
like
first
10
try, or is
kills,
this
10
Yeah.
maps
definitely
is
going to
already
be
a lot.
further?
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's kind of the
Never
concept
underestimate
of
the
if you
players, right? Like
dump
we will
like
try as hard as we can to
15,
achieve
right? You
something,
can
and
dump
players will just blow
15
right
runs
past
into
that
it and
because there are
fail it
millions of them,
on
and
your
they're pretty damn
16th
good at
run.
the game. So I
And-
don't want to make any promises
and it
there,
would
but
feel
True.
it certainly
it'd feel
brings
really
you
shit to
that'd
lose
feel
it,
shit.
right?
Sanctum.
Like
You have to know a lot about it.
Yeah.
You have to have some experience with it. You have to ideally have a good character with a capable build. You'd ideally have a good setup of your relics, which are the meta progression. To get to the deeper
Right.
floors, it certainly requires that you've assembled relics that fit with your strategy. And it also helps to be having a good run. I can't emphasize that enough. It's very roguelike, where you're picking up these
I
random
like it,
boons,
but
these random
it's
afflictions.
definitely
If you
going to
get the
be
bad afflictions
not
on you early on,
for
that run is not
everybody.
going to last long. If you get a really good
Could
set
be
of
hit
boons, you can
or
have a really
miss,
deep
yeah.
run, much further than you otherwise would at your current level.
Unfortunately, hit or miss is always bad for
This
Reddit
is, so you
and
mentioned like
the
30
general
something
player
rooms.
base.
That's like the biggest
That's
thing
okay,
aside from
fuck
a pretty
Reddit.
substantial margin, because even building
Only
the
our opinions
temples
matter. Fuck
around
Reddit.
the maps.
I
This
cannot
temple
stress
and
how
that,
much
that was like that's a pretty
if the
sizable
general
thing.
player
It seemed
base
a lot
does
bigger
not
than
enjoy a league,
That's
we
correct,
all suffer.
but a lot of the rewards
I
you
know,
get,
I
you get
know,
along
but
the way,
Reddit
and
is
so
not
it's
the
entirely
general
fine to
player
play the
base. That's
Sanctum a
my
few floors
assertion.
in and
No,
then fail
fuck.
and play again, and it's still a reward.
That's
They
my
influence.
assertion. I agree with you there.
Gamble on
They
pushing
Reddit
those
influence.
is
rewards right
people
to the
that
end
are
of the
bored
entire
at work
Sanctum
and
run,
just
but
want to bitch.
it's
about
unlikely you're
things.
going to choose
Yep.
to do that until you are really
That place is a
confident in
fucking
your ability
cesspit,
to do
man.
this
It
run
really
particularly
is.
well.
Like, it reads
Yeah,
really
so I saw
shit.
the
Even
reward
if
options
they
are like take a
released
tiny reward
literally
now, take
the
a
most
decent
perfect
reward at
league
the
that
end
we
of
have
the floor.
ever
So
seen, they
you're like,
will
oh, I can
find
make it
that
3 or 4
one thing to
rooms,
complain about.
and then there's the
Because
really
they're
big one
They
at
will.
the end as well. And there's
Yes.
stack right if you
I'm
get
just,
the
just
Well,
saying,
That's right,
just
and
saying,
it was kind of funny
guys.
because
We've,
in
we've
the
I
gone over
understand
this
where you're coming
before,
from.
I said
and
there's
It
a
does
massive
matter.
reward, and
But
we
it
fuck
does
Reddit, I
matter.
just
Chaos
don't care
Orbs as
about
the
them.
reward. So of course, chat me
My
that
my
as much as they
opinions
could.
don't
The
consider
thing
them
is,
at
okay,
all.
so let's do some math here, right? It's 32
Well, I'm
rooms
playing
in the Sanctum
SSF
run,
again,
and
so
deferrals make up
Nice,
something like
nice.
'cause
40%.
that
Did you
shit was
really
Deferral
enjoy it
makes up
last
awesome.
night?
finally quite a
Oh,
Yeah,
hold on,
reward.
guys.
It
Hold
makes
on.
up around 40%
so
of
fucking
Nice.
satisfying
and so
to like.
if you're offered an average of a whole bunch of Chaos Orbs, I think the example there had like 18, but obviously the currency numbers will vary a lot, then and you were to defer those entirely to the end of the Sanctum run, you would be getting hundreds of currency. And it can have divines, mirrors, and various other stuff in there moderately rarely. So it's entirely possible that were you to defer everything to the end in a big gamble, you could receive a very, very large payout. Now, of course, deferring it to the end of the Sanctum is a crazy strategy. We don't recommend that. It will end in tears. Only do this if you're confident in this run.
5 or
It's
6
set up
characters.
so that the rewards
Oh,
for
no.
immediately taking them are still worthwhile.
like
If
you
you played the
smashed it, good
Sanctum,
work.
just took the reward immediately, it's a
And
decent
mean, I
still,
only
like
disagree with
within
this
like a
as
on
month, I
top of
was
the other
done.
rewards you're getting.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna mute
there's
up
always the
and look
temptation
at
of the end of the floor. The
video
floor one is the
because
one
I
that's
missed
juiced
No
a little
worries.
bit. Of course, in later floors, the end of the Sanctum doesn't look very far away, and if you know you're having a good run, you've got confidence, then why not take the extra
I
reward
do
by
prefer
doing the big
SSF,
gamble?
but I'm working full
This
time, so I
deferral
just want to
mechanic's
like
super interesting
give
actually, because you've
a
designed
few
leagues where you
bits
get
still.
like some reward immediately,
trading.
and then you've designed leagues where you do like a lot of content and then get a ton of rewards all at once. So this allows the players to have control over that mechanic and make that decision for themselves. Have you like kind of? Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, this is because roguelikes have good runs and bad runs. If you're having a bad run, take the rewards
Right.
now and get as far as you can. If you're having a great run, that gives you the ability to make an ultimatum-like gamble.
Yeah, right. You
Speaking
can
of
make those
which,
strategic decisions kind of based on
ultimatum,
like
where is
this has
it?
been a brutal slog. I am no way am I getting through this. I'm gonna check out now. God, it makes sense. Have you thought about like the player mindset of just like I always gotta take the big one? Because I look at it and I'm like I'm always gonna take the
Don't
one,
expect
and
my
the
game to
biggest
scale
one, I'm
well with
never gonna get
graphics
it,
just in the
'cause I'm always
beginning because
gonna
I
die.
haven't put any effort into it.
Obviously,
you go.
just
players
yet.
want to min-max.
Yeah.
Plus,
they want to get the best result. But the
less
best
Epoch
result,
multiplayer also
pragmatically
announced.
say, I'm going to
Yeah,
take this
over the
reward
next
in a
couple
shorter
months.
time frame. Plus, okay, so
I'm
anyone
so
who's
keen
done
for that.
March.
I'll
economics or finance
hit me
understands
when
that
you guys
content
jump
can
on.
value for money,
Give me a
but
ping
dollar
for that
now
because
is
I'd be
worth more
really
than a
keen to
dollar
jump on
later,
and play play with these.
to use right now.
Yeah.
And when these full sanctum runs taking 30
I have like
laps,
500
maybe
hours in
getting a
the game.
pile
Oh,
of
Yeah.
Chaos is potentially
I've
some
played
higher currency that
briefly,
results in
but I've just
divines
wanted to
a
wait
few
until
maps
this
from
part
now
of the game.
is actually better for your character development than getting a very
I
large
haven't
pile of
actually
20
played
maps.
the game in
Maybe,
like
especially when there's a
a
conditional
year.
element to that. It may be that getting something a few maps
So
from
a
now that you can
lot
then
has
trade to
changed.
get
I
more
have to play
progression is actually
after
better for you.
PoE.
So there
I'll
are a lot of hard
probably
decisions which we put on the
do
table
a
here for the
run of
players.
Elden Ring again,
Now I'm gonna have to dig out
and
my
then
old
I'll play
economics
Leslie
textbooks.
Puck.
Path of
Okay.
Excel, right?
Yeah, now you're speaking our language. Let's talk the resolve mechanic. So to clarify, resolve is an independent health bar.
Yeah,
Yes,
resolve
in
is what
Sanctum
I'm worried
specifically,
about.
And when your resolve
That
runs
is the
out, you can
mechanic
leave
I'm
Sanctum dead
more
or not,
worried.
right?
That's correct. Now, I noticed the reaction when we're announcing the resolve system there, as a lot of players said, why? As though this is a negative thing, but I want to have a chance to explain it. So, we tried very hard initially to work out a system here that works with your player life, then there's no additional bars. The problem is, though, Path of Exile's player life fluctuates up and down rapidly. You're constantly healing yourself, you've got recovery, there's no persistence to this. Your player life is like how out of breath you are, if you see what I mean. It's a very brief, it's almost like your heartbeat to some extent. And so, if we were to say, look, if you lose some life in this room, then when you come back into the next room, that life is going to be missing. So, you've got a kind of a progression through the sanctum. Then they just press 1 and heal themselves fully and carry on playing. And so, our experiments where there's no meta progression in it do not function as a roguelike. There has to be a thing where you get worn down. Having said that, half of the plan here, half of the strategy you have to do in your sanctum is work out how you are recovering your resolve. And there are lots of different ways. It's along the lines, I mean, it's as simple as if your resolve is lower than you'd like because the sanctum one is one you're struggling with, then you have to start pathing through various things like fountains or choosing boons which enable more resolve recovery. And every time you have to choose something focusing on resolve recovery, you're implicitly losing some other thing you could be getting, like more rewards or a different axis of power. And so the degree to which you're struggling with the run forces you to focus on staying alive and getting rewards. But conversely, this means if you're having a good run where you are not struggling at all, you can just kind of ignore your resolve and focus on becoming super powerful. And this works really well as a roguelike. And I would really encourage people to try it out before judging it based on the fact that it's an additional life bar. We don't add those kind of things
It's the floor
for no
effect
reason.
affect it.
It
The
means
getting
as
hit
well
by a
that you don't have
fireball
as much
affect
pressure on your actual player life.
Like
and it's
there's
very interesting how build
screenings
agnostic this is because it
like
creates a
that we
situation
have to
where
deal with.
different Path of Exile players can experience the Sanctum in similar ways, despite the fact their builds play quite differently.
This was Q&A is super good to do because you get a chance to explain this, like how you arrived at this design decision that you can't really do in the reveal because it would bog down the reveal for like 10 minutes. So that's super interesting. You actually touched on a topic I wanted to ask. So Resolve seems to reward high mobility play styles that can completely avoid attacks. So since mitigation doesn't affect resolve damage, how does it feel playing like a low mobility tanky melee character in the Sanctum when you kind of just be failing runs due to chip damage that otherwise is not a threat to you?
We
Party play
so we've
in
made it so that
Sanctum?
the resolve damage is lower if you're close to a target. Essentially, if you're melee and you're right in their face, then you take less resolve damage than if
You
you're
still
further
take
away.
resolve damage.
And so attacks are also very telegraphed, and that means that even if you're a
I want
tanky
to
melee
see the new
character and you
Atlas
have an
tree.
opportunity to get out of the way,
True.
you probably should consider at least a Quicksilver Flask if you're going into the Sanctum, so that you have some ability to respond to stuff. But that's normal Path of Exile play. Even in Ruthless, where there's significantly less mobility skills, Quicksilver Flasks still exist. The other thing is, if your build is one where you're expecting to take a lot of resolve damage, just spec your relics into resolve recovery. Relics are your meta progression that you can choose. They're locked in for the Sanctum run, and you keep them between runs. So if you feel that you want more resolve recovery, get relics that do that. And if you're a character that's given up mobility, has some ability at the expense of maybe less damage or less tankiness or something, then there are other things they can specialize their relics into if they have enough resolve.
That taking less damage at close range thing is super interesting. Is that like kind of a fast shot mechanic applied to projectile attacks or something?
It's like that for all of the resolve stuff, and this is something that we've realized is necessary because the melee
They should
tanky characters
honestly
get up close,
apply
and so
that to
it's better
fucking
for that to be balanced
everything
around
in
it.
the game and
All
make
right,
melee
cool.
way
And
more
just to
viable.
clarify for people, if you are playing hardcore, this means you can fail the Sanctum without dying. So I was like, I thought that was a very hardcore league.
Right. The intention of the Forbidden Sanctum is that you will fail your Sanctum many, many times on the path to finding all of the good stuff in it. And so if that meant the hardcore character was dead and had to start again, it just wouldn't be a hardcore compatible league. And so a side effect of Resolve is that hardcore characters can actually engage with it without putting themselves in mortal danger. It also means, of course, with the way that experience penalties work, high-level characters can play without putting their current experience so much on the line. I mean, it's still very. I mean, I've died in the Sanctum numerous occasions with legitimate player life deaths because I was careless, but it's certainly easier from a player life
Oh god,
point of
there's
view
two Chris
than,
Wilsons
say,
on the stream.
high-level mapping is.
Well, that kind of speaks to the concept of Resolve as a whole. Resolve is
Not
about
sure if
your
it's Ziggy talking
well
or
you've
if it's
done over
second
the
Chris
course
talking.
of the entire dungeon, whereas your health is how well you've done in this specific engagement, which is an interesting kind of like two-faceted approach that we don't normally have in Path of Exile. Like, if you do bad at the start of a map, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the rest of the map, right?
Yeah, and it's also meant that if we want something to be dangerous, we up the resolve a bit. We don't up its damage, threatening the actual characters.
Interesting. Cool. All right. So to clarify on the sanctified relics, these are the ones where the effects work on your character outside of the sanctum.
That's correct. Yeah, both inside and outside. So these are a permanent power progression for characters. They're hard to get. They're very end game. You know, we're talking late maps here. And
okay, that
due to the
makes
fact
it
that they
100%
can't be
worth
crafted
actually
and
going
can't be
through and
traded
doing it.
means that you are very limited in how many of these you get access to. But they are very powerful, and because of the fact that they can't be crafted or traded, we've made sure to juice the mods on them and make sure it's not watered down. These are relics which will significantly affect the character power of your build. Now, they are shared among all the characters on your account, or meaning you can equip from the same pool. So it does mean that if you find one for one character and you want to use it on a different build, it's entirely possible to.
Yes.
Very cool. How does the Sanctum work in a party then?
Okay.
It doesn't.
Got a bunch of rules here. Short answer is, as with all recent leagues, we want party play to work, but we also want it so that people don't feel encouraged to cheese things through party play. And so the philosophy basically is, like, one of the problems with Arch Nemesis with the whole culling situation is that players realize when they find a certain monster that, oh, I now have to engage with other humans in order to get maximum result here. You want Sanctum to work in a party without creating the feeling that you have to engage with humans in order to get the best out of your Sanctum. It shouldn't feel like you only want to go in there when you have a whole bunch of friends who are online at the same time. So we've come up with rules that enable you to play as a party, and certainly there are some benefits for doing so, but there is also some liability to it. And so the way it works is the sanctum is always that of the map owner. The person who created the map is the one whose sanctum you're playing. So if Ziggy and I are playing and we're doing Ziggy's sanctum, he's the one getting the progress route. I'm there to help, and afterwards it would be nice if he reciprocated and we did my sanctum as well, but it's primarily your one that's progressing. And so this means that you are the one who makes the choices about stuff. This is the one, it's your relics matter there. We're using your gold, your boons, your afflictions, and your resolve bar. That's the important thing to note. If you invite other party members into your sanctum with you, they don't just get a free ability to have their own resolve bar, which doesn't matter.
You can
or
literally
they can run
get
around
trolled.
and distract the monsters. You are, as a party, sharing the resolve bar with the map owner. And this means that extra party members can't just go and suicide themselves on stuff to distract the monsters. They actually have to be playing properly. Party member deaths do not end the current run, so if they happen to die legitimately, that doesn't screw up what you're doing. There's a bunch of other small rules
Explodey
like
is back.
party
Suicide
members
bomber
can view
run.
the merchant and view the map, but only the map owner actually makes the choices and purchases stuff. In practice, what this means is it's fun to bring people in and play together. It does give you a small advantage from a combat point of view if you have multiple players, but you do all have to be playing cohesively, so only bring in party members you trust. You can also drop party members in and out, so by that I mean, like, I can play this room with Ziggy and the next one with someone else, and because it's sharing my resources, that's compatible without having to have like a party resolve bar that's, reserved for a specific group of people and so on.
All right. So if I bring a viewer in and they want to sabotage me, they can run in front of all the monsters.
Yep.
Great.
That would be hilarious. You guys should do that.
Please. Please. Okay. We got a couple of chat questions on the mechanics here specifically as well. Also, I just wanted to add another one. When you die in the sanctum via resolve death,
yes,
and your character flops on the ground like a fish,
Mm.
Are you fully protected from taking any damage from any source dots, anything like that? You guys have checked, right?
Yes. I checked this yesterday. The list of things you are like, I'll read it to you. Cannot be damaged. Minions take no actions. You have grace period. Dealt no damage. Minions have no damage. Minions cannot be damaged. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Good.
You're
Okay,
protected.
cool. Excellent. Just had to make 100% sure. We didn't want any people like, I fell over in the sanctum and then I died when I couldn't control my character. So, good. Excellent. Losing a resolve death TK Hectic asks, is your XP lost or is your XP protected?
My belief is, correct me if I'm, yeah. So that was the dev check. You don't lose experience if you fail out through to resolve, and that's because it isn't actually a death. It doesn't increase the deaths count. You don't lose experience. You don't lose hardcore characters. It's entirely basically fainting and being ejected.
Gotcha. Malik asks, do we need to interact with the league mechanic every zone, or can we somehow build them up or save them to run them all at once?
You do interact with it in every zone, and it's not a particularly long encounter. These aren't very large rooms, but yes, you should interact with every zone.
Yeah, sometimes you literally you probably just portal in and click a fountain and leave, right? And then go back to your map?
The structure is that every room, so the basic way it works is you take the portal and you appear in a small antechamber, which enables you to make a choice. You click on the map, have a look at what the options are of where you want to go next. You can look a few ahead, and you lock in a choice. And then a door, one of the 3 doors, or up to 3 doors in that room, slides open. So you go through. Now you're in the actual main sanctum room. So you do whatever the objective is in there, which may be just getting to the exit or killing the guards or whatever. And this is not designed to take long. It's meant to not interrupt your mapping from a pace point of view. And then you end up in the reward room. Every room has a reward, and these vary from all the things we've talked about, fountains, affliction fountains, merchant, treasure room, and so on, or the offer one, which is the item deferral, and a whole bunch of other, I should add, there are a lot of other reward rooms we haven't shown in the live stream. Like the goal here is players explore and find stuff, so we only showed a subset in the announcement. And so after you've done that, you're right back into the map you were playing. And so it's a relatively quick process and does improve your sanctum progress or give you some actual currency with each room you play.
Yeah, for some behind the scenes insight here, for this one we were specifically like, let's try and avoid spoilers as much as possible for like the things you can discover in the Forbidden Sanctum. So
yeah,
there's a fair bit of discovery process there.
There's a lot of discovery, and there's quite a lot of story as well. Like there's an actual reason why the Sanctum is, got this bad person in there and what's going on with that. But we'd much prefer people actually enjoy that rather than us dumping it all on them here.
And bosses too. I'm very excited.
Yeah, lots of boss fights.
Lots. I was thinking there might just be like 2 or something. Very good. Official Arrow asks, do totems, when they take damage, lose your resolve? And I'll tack onto that minions as well.
No, they do not.
Great. Excellent. Does self-inflicted damage affect resolve?
I don't think it does. There's a lot of shrugging. No, it's only damage that's tagged with affecting your resolve, like ones from the monsters. There are some, let's say, environmental hazards in the Sanctum. You can see it briefly in some of the footage of some big molten orbs flying around and so on, and that kind of thing. An object in the middle of the room that's spewing out laser beams.
I'm getting shrugs over
that
here.
Stuff will hit your resolve, but it's really telegraphed. Like it's very easy for people to deal with.
Ward damage loop
answers Monkey Dota's question as well. So we'll move on to the next topic, which is endgame changes. So the need to swap between bossing and mapping in the Atlas trees was definitely something that felt awkward. So I'm pretty excited to learn a bit more about that change. Many of the nodes have been rolled into the game as default now for bossing. But are there any passives that remain on the Atlas tree for bossing reward stuff? I'm guessing there are still nodes, for example, to enable the Uber versions of the various bosses, at least?
Yes, there are Uber nodes still, so if you want to play the Uber fights, you can allocate the passive, but thankfully that's a very small investment that you wouldn't do particularly often. And the main problem, which is where you feel like you have to fully spec into bosses and then fully unspec back into mapping, which is a large investment, is not there anymore. And it's worth noting the kind of people that are doing Uber pinnacle farming can afford the regrets to flick a passive on and off from time to time. But basically, the plan is that you can play bosses at any time without feeling like you have to respec your tree or you're missing out on something.
I mean, it's also important to note that the Ubers are not the default bosses now, thankfully.
That would be wild.
Some of the allocatable boss nodes made things more challenging in addition to more rewarding. So, for example, Inevitable Ambush, which added a second Guardian to the Guardian fights. Are things like this made default behavior now, or are they still passives, or are they just gone?
The ones that add extra challenge and rewards are gone for now, but this isn't a we don't like them, they're gone forever. It's a case that we want to bring them back in some form. And we have some plans for this. They probably won't be an at 320 release, but we do have some cool ways where basically the ability to opt in to the challenge and reward is not going to come from the tree, because that creates the problems we've discussed, but it will come from somewhere. And so players will be able to get their challenge and reward back for those. But in the meantime, obviously, there's still a lot of ways you can ramp up the juice and challenge from these encounters.
Jack was wondering if Atlas Tree will be viewable today alongside patch notes, or is that a little bit later maybe?
I don't think it's today, but our expectation is to release it before release so that you do get a chance to plan around it.
Okay. Reign of Pain Games asks, there was mention of boss nodes being moved from now. Let's pass retrieve the bosses directly. To avoid what happened last league with loot, are there any number changes happening with the modifiers?
I'm unaware of any. I mean, we've tried very hard to communicate everything as clearly as we can in the patch notes. I mean, I can't promise we haven't missed anything, but we have scoured stuff in order to try to make sure it's complete, and also written the live stream and our information up based on this kind of stuff. So we are trying very hard to disclose any small changes like that which would have an impact. I'm not aware of any stuff we haven't spoken about there.
All right, let's talk a bit about rare monsters. I think a lot of players are very happy to read the manifesto about the replacement of the arch nemesis system for rare monsters with a new, more, I guess, nemesis-like system. Do you think that this new system will still achieve the goals that you set out to achieve with arch nemesis, though?
So the goal of Arch Nemesis initially was modernization of the effects and their balance. We felt that the old monster mods were just really old. We just basically needed to give them a fresh coat of paint. Now, our fresh coat of paint
it sucks for the people that created like Arch Nemesis because all their work is like kind of.
It just got piecemealed into a new system.
To that effect,
which, I mean, they still got paid, so it doesn't
modern
really
effects. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that we weren't doing with a system that was 2 systems ago, and the balance is appropriate for current Path of Exile. So it's definitely ticks those boxes.
I like to think that people who work there don't work there only for money, but because they like enjoy putting their work
very kind of
in.
Just like rough feelings basis.
Right.
How do you think like an
and then
yeah, but it doesn't like. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a live service. That
My
gets
impression so
constantly.
far is that the
I think the person who was hurt the most by it was actually Chris Wilson.
The key thing is this: a previous Arch Nemesis mod had a grab bag of stuff that it did. It generally made the monster do more damage in a generic sense. It also had an interesting thing that happened gameplay-wise, and it added a bunch of defensive properties, and often more, often on multiple axes. And so it cohesively had a kind of a, this is a fire, it's going to screw you up with fire in 4 different ways kind of theme. And so therefore it applied to pretty much any character, right? It would have some way of interacting with them. The new mods are very simple. The new mods say, cool, you're not going to be able to do much fire damage to me, or I'm going to do a lot of fire damage to you, or I have a magma barrier. They just do one thing. And therefore, they're very, let's just say, Boolean against certain players. I'll give an example. Let's say you run into a rare monster with 2 mods, and those 2 mods are that it will blind you and that it's resistant to fire damage. So if you're playing a cold caster, neither of those mods affects you whatsoever. They're literally nothing. And so you can kill a monster easily and it doesn't do anything extra to you. Great. And on average, you're often encountering this. But if you're playing a fire melee character, it blinds you, which is going to affect your accuracy, and the fire damage is going to be mitigated against it. This will be a harder fight. It will wake you up a bit when you encounter it. And so you're going to find this situation where a lot more monsters are just speed bumps along the way and aren't causing a problem, and sometimes there'll be one which causes you issues because of your build. And so it's quite a different experience for different players, but overall, the monsters are at a glance much simpler in terms of what they do, and you're not encountering the onerous, long, frustrating fights every single area like you were before.
See, I like that because you feel good when you're playing a build and you run into a challenge. You're like, "Ha, my build doesn't care about this at all." And you feel clever, you know. Even though it's just kind of the luck of the draw on that one, but yeah, that feels good. So on the modifiers, only doing what they say.
Ziggy D is so fucking cringe though.
However, there still kind of remains a problem where this.
I don't get why they even get him in there. Like, let someone else do it. He doesn't even play PoE much.
The new modifiers in some way to help players.
Now you guys are starting to sound like Reddit.
Systems like.
He doesn't play PoE because he hates fucking Arch Nemesis. Now hopefully he'll be back. He literally made a giant ass video about how Arch Nemesis ruined his enjoyment.
What a monster does like. But otherwise, what we focused on here is to.
I've never really liked Ziggy D. I think he makes good content. He just seems like a fuckwit.
Okay, well, I'm fucking streaming, so.
And then what does that mean?
We don't talk shit about other streamers.
Of course, but there were 70 plus of them.
Alright, fair. It seems like I don't actually know him.
What it does. This may mean more reading. It may not be a good.
I'm also very.
Right. It might be that we need to make things slightly more concise, but I'm really worried about us getting back into keywording because part of the problem with keywording was then a player can't look at the keyword and actually understand what it does.
He's a good streamer. I just like I'm not sure. I don't know.
Longer term, there are probably solutions. Maybe the right answer is to put some color coding back. Currently, it's not color coded. That was something which
sound like the same people that like witch hunt fucking Rise and Yugi because they weren't playing Path of Exile. Yeah, they invited them on the Bay class, and then people were like, they don't even play Path of Exile. Even though they've been playing it for fucking 8+ years.
Achieves our goal.
Yeah, they'll always be OGs.
Yeah, I think the color coding would be a good thing. It could be something that could be done gradually over time as well. Like you start with elementally
That's like
aligned things and color
somebody
coded
beta
alongside
post
their
like
elements, for
One
example.
thing we have done,
Ziz
and
is
this
going to do his
isn't
like
something we
PoE
spoke
at
about on live
university.
stream, is that the
They're like,
text
why
of
is
the
this
monsters is like there's a
why is
spire,
this
there's a skull,
RuneScape
vulnerable to fire,
streamer
vulnerable to cold,
gonna
and all
make
it kicks
Path
in
of
when they
Exile
have approximate
content? He doesn't even
coordinates
play
of
Path of
instance.
Exile. And I was like,
Was
oh
feeling a bit
god.
spammy alongside all of these mods.
Yeah.
Like when we're asking you
Right.
to read 2 or 3 short lines
Like,
of
yeah,
mod
people
text,
play
having
other
like
fucking
resist fire,
games.
resist
They don't
cold
only
underneath it as
play
well was
Path.
quite a lot. And so we've moved those to a little
Doesn't make
symbols
him not a
over on the
Path of
right of the
Exile
life bar.
streamer.
And so if you're the kind of character who cares about which monsters are fire
I
resistant,
mean,
you're just glancing
Ziz
at
plays
symbols
like
now
what,
rather than trying to read text. And
maybe
that's helped read the
2,000
quite a
hours
bit.
of PoE
So
every
that's great.
year.
That sounds awesome. I look forward to seeing that. Yeah, it's
Cool.
kind of like what I was
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, little symbols and life bars. Great idea. Excellent. Good to know. So let's talk about the loot goblin issue. It seems like it'll be solved by players simply just not knowing which monster is going to be the big loot pinata. Good news indeed. But how do you feel about the loot conversion system overall? Because I thought this system was quite interesting, but maybe a little bit tainted by how it was implemented. So for the unfamiliar, the loot conversion system is this new system that takes what a monster would usually drop and converts it into a new type of reward, like all currency, for example.
So we've reviewed the loot conversions and added some new ones, dropped some old ones, like the ones that just gave you piles and piles of flasks, for example. As far as I know, that doesn't exist anymore. And we've gone through and made sure to use the feedback that people have had. So the way it works is rare monsters drop more items than regular monsters. By itself, that should be enough reward. But we want it to be interesting, and we want people to feel like they're really, that there's an extra reason to kill rare monsters because you could otherwise ignore them. And so you basically have these bonus drops that can occur. And bonus drops include conversions, but they also include a lot of other stuff. And there's a chance of getting the bonus drops that's proportional to the mods that are on the monster. For example, if a monster has 2 mods on it, then it has 2 chances to get a bonus.
Oh yes, the
if there's
orb
4
ability
mods, there's 4
works.
chances to get a bonus. And the
Nice.
individual mods have higher chances where I believe like the more difficult ones, like for example, if there's one that's similar to one of the old Pantheon mods and that it does, like it evokes some, god who comes and smites you, for example, then it is significantly higher. There's a significantly higher chance that it's going to have a special drop here. And what you find is when a monster has, the convergence of all of the really big mods in it, it's a hard fight. That results in there being a very high chance of one of these special drops, which is potentially a conversion or potentially one of the other ones we haven't spoken about yet. And this results in a thing where you have a lot of incentive to fight rare monsters, a lot of incentive
Someone
to fight
just
hard
wrote
rare
in the
monsters,
chat, why am I
but
watching
you
a
don't
stream
feel that you can assess a monster beforehand and then
with
try to min-max what your exact party composition should be in order to get
Lex
the maximum
Luthor and
rewards
Jeff
from that fight.
Bezos.
We've also tried to smooth this out a bit more. Like the thing in the past where potentially under the right circumstances get dozens of divines from a monster, and then everyone else feels
I
like
can see the Lex Luthor. I can't see the
great.
Jeff Bezos.
So we're trying to make sure that there are still spikes, but it's a bit less spiky.
Just
than before.
Chris
There's a
with
bit more.
Oh, it's Chris and
more
Chris.
things, and a lot of
Gotcha.
the bad options are a bit better now.
A lot more variety.
The only resemblance I see is the no hair. That's it.
Map bosses as well. Like map bosses have definitely gotten better over time in terms of reward and more interesting, which I like. But it still seems like in a lot of cases they could get a little spicier.
It's worth looking into. Yeah, we've been focusing this cycle on trying to get the monster mods into a good place and to scrub all the arch nemesis off everything.
Yes. Oh, feels good.
Those power washing videos? It's like that.
Yeah, I'll get my gurney out and hose off the arch nemesis filth.